Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to yet another Destiny 2 Forsaken video, and today we're going to be taking a look at and reviewing the Nation of Beasts, or as I like to call it, the FATEBRINGER 2.0. Now this thing shares a lot in common with the FATEBRINGER, and I'm not only talking about the perks themselves. It is also a hand cannon that is exclusive to the brand new raid. Now of course the raid that I'm talking about is the Last Wish raid, and just like back in the day with Vault of Glass, the FATEBRINGER only dropped from that specific raid. Now you're going to have to rely on several levels of RNG to get this FATEBRINGER roll. So of course you're gonna have to get this weapon first of all, but secondly you're gonna have to wait to get a curated roll. If you guys are brand new to the Forsaken expansion and don't know much about curated rolls, essentially it's Bungie's hand-picked God roll. So they took every single one of the raid weapons and they put on a specific roll that drops with a 10 masterwork, and the perks will be static. You cannot change them whatsoever. There's going to be no options for customization. Obviously I'm talking, you know, just about the perks here, but yeah, it's gonna drop as Bungie's favorite God roll, and if you get that specific curated roll, then you are one lucky bastard because it is a very rare drop. So you gotta rely on the weapon to drop, and then secondly you have to rely on the curated roll to drop. Now I did get this weapon and I have to say I am one lucky SOB. In case you're wondering, the shader that I currently have on is Metro Shift. Now I tweeted a picture of this weapon out after I received it, and a lot of people were wondering what the shader was, so I thought I should just, you know, tell you guys in the video just in case you guys are curious. Thankfully, the curated roll drops with a 10 masterwork for range specifically. It's no secret that range is one of the most important things on a hand cannon, and it's been like that all the way back to Destiny 1. It's got a magazine size of 10 and it's a 140 RPM, which is really nice. It's got full bore and light magazine, and then of course the two perks that this weapon drops with is really no surprise. We got outlaw and dragonfly, so these two things are absolutely amazing, and there's just so much synergy between them. Now if you didn't know, outlaw is essentially getting precision kills, will reload your weapon insanely fast, and dragonfly is every time you get a kill and it's a headshot, you'll actually create a small explosion where the enemy died. So all you want to do is go for headshots when you're using this weapon, and you'll just have insta fast reload and you'll have explosions everywhere. This is particularly good for PvE, and honestly there's not too many weaknesses with this weapon overall. Now I thought it'd be very interesting to compare the hidden stats of this weapon to the FATEBRINGER back in D1, because that was the most smooth feeling weapon in the entire game, especially if you're using it in PvE. It was everybody's go-to weapon for a solid year, so let's just compare these stats very quickly. If we only take a look at the important stat values, the Nation of Beasts actually has a pretty slim advantage. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the range value. Both these weapons are sitting at 40 across the board, but the reason why the Nation of Beasts wins here is because the masterwork that drops with the curated roll is at 10 for range, and that increases the range by 10%. So on that alone, it's winning. The next category we're going to take a look at is the aim assist. So FATEBRINGER sat between 61 and 66. And the Nation of Beasts is actually sitting at 71, so it's winning on the aim assist department. If you're wondering why the FATEBRINGER varies from 61 to 66, it was dependent on the actual barrel that you could get on the weapon. And now we're also going to take a look at recoil direction. They're both sitting at 95, so it's even there. The only thing that the FATEBRINGER has on the Nation of Beasts is the magazine. It's sitting at 12 for the FATEBRINGER and only 10 for the Nation of Beasts, but the thing is that if you're landing your headshots and you're getting outlaw to proc often, the reload speed is so fast that you're really never not shooting, if that makes any sense. So I really wouldn't give a massive advantage there to the FATEBRINGER, and overall I would say that the Nation of Beasts is a little bit more well-rounded and polished, and for that reason it is the FATEBRINGER 2.0, and it's definitely worthy of that title. This weapon is clearly geared towards PvE, just like the FATEBRINGER was back in Destiny 1. Now of course you can use it in PvP, and we'll get to that part of the review in a second, but there's a lot of other weapons that just clearly outclass it in PvP. Now for PvE, the reason why I like this thing so much is because it's valued very well at high level encounters. For example, the Riven boss fight is a perfect example of how well this thing can shine. When you're in the rooms and you're clearing out tons of those ads, this thing really does well. The mini explosions take out a lot of the ads that are grouped up beside the Eye of Riven, and of course it also does arc damage just like the FATEBRINGER does, and I thought that's something that's worth mentioning because when there's arc shields, this thing melts those as well. So let's talk about the weapon in PvP, because it's obviously a PvE weapon that's going to dominate for a pretty long time, and especially because it's in the secondary slot. You can pair this with something like a shotgun or maybe a pulse rifle or a scout rifle, so this thing will definitely dominate when it comes to PvE. But what is this thing all about when it comes to PvP? Well, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I alluded to it, there are tons of really good hand cannons right now in PvP. So even though this thing can make some solid plays and it can 3-tap people as it hits 70 to the head, it's not going to be one of those weapons that you're going to want to use instead of the Ace of Spades, the Luna's Howl, the Not Forgotten, or even like something like the Trust. That's a solid hand cannon. Now on a side note, if you end up getting the Nation of Beasts without the actual curated roll that Bungie gives you, maybe you have something like Outlaw and Kill Clip or Outlaw and Rampage, then that's a different story. This weapon might actually be a lot better when it comes to PvP. But something like Dragonfly isn't really that great in PvP. The only scenario when I can see that perk being pretty effective is maybe on a sniper, but when it comes to a hand cannon, I really can't see it being too good, and that's why I just wouldn't use it over some of the already amazing hand cannons that we have in the game. But that is it for the video though, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I wish you all luck getting this weapon because the curated rolls are pretty damn low in terms of the drop rate. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, a like rating would be very much appreciated. Subscribe for more daily Destiny 2 content. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you all later. Peace.